Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Solar Tech. In today's episode, I'll be giving a full test drive of the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G, covering many areas. As you may have gathered from my videos, I try to pack in a lot to give you as much information as possible, and today is no exception. So let's get started. Officially, this is the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G. It has that large 6.9-inch curved display. Despite that, it is very comfortable to hold, and I'm someone with small hands. In terms of weight, it's 213 grams, although it does feel lighter than that for such a big phone. On the back here, we have that large camera bump or hump. In terms of colors, this is the Mystic Bronze version. And some people see it as rose gold, some see it as pink salmon. Although I've never known salmon to be in other colors, maybe that's the mystique about it. These also come in Mystic Black and Mystic White. On the left hand side, we have a microphone. On the right hand side, we have the SIM tray. The SIM tray can house 2 nano SIMs or 1 nano SIM and 1 micro SD card. The micro SD card is expandable up to 1 terabyte. You can also use an eSIM. In terms of the SIM tray, I've never understood why we have the SIM ejector tool. For me, it's redundant in 2 aspects. Firstly, you can never find it when you need it. Secondly, with the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II, you can remove the SIM tray just by your hand. So Samsung, take note. And in the process, it will save you, I guess, millions of dollars in terms of production. Furthermore, there are less and less items coming with the packaging. At the bottom, starting from right to left, we have another microphone. We have the Type-C port, and this grill section here is the speaker. And of course, we have the S Pen on the left-hand side. This used to be on the right-hand side and has now upset those who are right-handed. By the same token, when it was on the right hand side, it will upset those who are left-handed. For me, the only way you can please everybody is to have it in the middle. I am right-handed, and it doesn't take a nanosecond to pull the S Pen out from the left-hand side. On the right-hand side of the phone, we have the on-off button and the volume rocker. On the left-hand side of the phone, we do not have any buttons. I suspect this is due to the S Pen being on the left-hand side of the phone. This phone does not come with a 3.5mm headphone jack. However, should you want to continue listening to your music using your headphones, you'll require one of these. This is a Type-C to 3.5mm adapter. It's very simple. This then goes into your device, and the other end of your headphones will go into this hole here. These are really inexpensive to buy. In terms of protecting your device, you can use a number of cases. I've got 2 here that I tend to alternate between. So I've got this leather one here. And I like this one because once the phone's inside, that camera bump does not rock whatsoever. So I'm really pleased about that. Then I will use this one as well. I tend to use this one, I guess, in the summer months because I want to show off that Mystic Bronze color of the rear of the phone. So this is really good. The beauty with using a case is that you don't get any accidental touches whatsoever, because people have complained about accidental touches on the side of the phone due to the curved display. What I will do is leave a link in the description below for all 3 items here. This is the 512GB model, which already has 56GB of pre-installed apps, some duplicating others. So effectively, one is getting 456GB. This also has the Exynos 990 chipset, 12GB of RAM, and these also come with 256GB of internal storage. You also get Android 10, and I've already updated to Android 11. You get 3 years of software updates from Samsung and the latest security patch. You also get In terms of UI, it's 3.1. It has 5G, meaning it is future-proof. Nevertheless, this phone is a real powerhouse. All this is powered by the 4,500 milliamp battery. You also get NFC, meaning you can use Google Pay. However, I did notice that Samsung Pay was already pre-installed on this phone. However, when I went to the Google folder, again, this was already pre-installed. Google Pay was not installed. So if you prefer to use Google Pay as opposed to Samsung Pay, you will need to download it from the Play Store. The phone comes with an IP68 dust and water resistant rating. It is made of Corning Gorilla Glass Victus, which is the strongest yet. After spending good money on the phone, believe me, I have not drop tested it to find out. The back has a matte finish, meaning it is not a fingerprint magnet. Well done, Samsung. The phone also supports wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, meaning you can put another phone, watch or buds on the back of this phone and it will start charging, provided it supports this technology. I think we can all agree that this is a large phone. And if you're considering buying it, you may be wondering how you're going to manage it on a day-to-day basis. Well, in the background there, I've got a pair of my chinos and I'm going to slot it in the back pocket and see how it fares. So the first one, look at that. If you are afraid of putting this in your back pocket for fear of someone stealing it, you can always try your front pocket. So with my chinos, I'm going to try the front pocket and see how it fares. Fantastic. Yeah, that's pretty good. If you have any concerns about using this phone on a bright sunny day in direct sunlight, have no fear, because you can see this very clearly. In terms of price, this Exynos 512GB model costs a mouth-watering £1,279, which is about $1,800 at today's exchange rate. For anyone with deep pockets, I will leave a link in the description below. For mere mortals like myself, you can get it through your network provider, meaning you can pay via monthly installments, thus cushioning the blow somewhat. I purchased my Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra using the Amazon Renewed program, where I got a high-spec product and made considerable savings. In fact, I saved £500, which is $700 on the list price. To gain the full value of this phone, you need to use most of the functions, including the 100 plus hidden features, which Samsung have packed into this phone. Some people do not like to have the hidden features, which they may not use, but I prefer to have them. So if and when I want to use them, they are at my fingertips, especially at this price point. Otherwise, I would feel shortchanged. I must admit, the battery consumption on this phone is quite high, making it really difficult for me to go for a whole day without charging it. In terms of screen on time, I can get anywhere between 3 to 5 hours. So for example, let's take the day, which is this blue bar. So we can see here, in terms of screen on time, it's 3 hours and 21 minutes. Yesterday was 4 hours. The day before that was 20 minutes, obviously very low usage, hence the low number. Then the day before that was 1 hour and 23 minutes. And the previous 3 days, again, very low numbers because of the very low usage. One way to save on the battery is to probably reduce the 120 Hz refresh rate and turning off some other features, like maybe always on display to save battery. One way to save on the battery power is by going into settings, then display. Then we're going to select motion smoothness, but before we do that, I've chosen the dark mode here, so you can see it. If you're not happy with that, you can revert back to the light mode, but I shall revert back to the dark mode for now. Okay, so go back to motion smoothness, and as you can see, I've selected adaptive, which means that This screen will run up to 120 Hz, which is a lovely experience. Okay, so once done that, we go back. So we're looking for screen resolution. And as you can see, it's running at 120 Hz at 1080p or FHD+. And at the bottom, it says moderate battery use. So that's good. So now, if we want to run 120 Hz at WQHD+ or 1040, we select it here. And as you can see at the bottom, it does say it does require most battery use. So once we do that, 120 Hz at 1440, tap on apply, and the message at the bottom there tells you that this will not work. So do keep that in mind. Okay, so I'll just cancel that for now. Just revert back to where it was. That's perfect. Okay, just want to show you the screen mode in terms of the colors. So hopefully you'll be able to judge the quality of the colors. So it's now natural. So if I press vivid, so hopefully you can see the difference there. And when it's on vivid, you can adjust the white balance. Prior to purchasing the phone, I was concerned about the phone overheating on the back. I can confirm, at least mine does overheat on the back, around here at times. I have used different brands of Android phones, and they have also tended to overheat after a certain amount of time of use. But they do cool down after a while. So this could be a wider problem. This small punch hole is for the front-facing or selfie camera. It is 10 megapixels, and you can also shoot movies in 4K. This is the quality of the front-facing camera. So you can judge the quality for yourself. With the front-facing camera, you can record in 4K at 60 frames per second or at 30 frames per second. Equally, you can record 1080p at 30 frames per second. On the rear of the phone, we have this triple camera setup, which I shall go into very shortly. But the first thing I want to do is address this camera bump because it is big. Everybody tells you it is big. Even I am telling you it is big. And you as the viewing audience are probably wondering just how big is it? So I'm going to do a world's first by measuring it so you can get a true idea of how big it is. So first thing to do, so we just measure across, and as we can see by the bottom measurement, it is about just under 3 centimeters, which is by the top measurement, which is 1.17 inches. Okay, now to measure the height. And in terms of height, so if we go by the measurements on the left, you're looking about 4.5 or 4.6 centimeters. And by the measurement on the right, you're looking at 1.77 inches. So now you have a true idea of how big the camera bump is. Now, moving on to the cameras. Starting at the top here, we have the 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, followed by the 108 megapixel wide camera. Lastly, you have the 12 megapixel telephoto camera. And of course, on the right here, where this red dot is, you have the laser autofocus sensor. Now recording in Ultra HD at 30 frames per second. And again, just using the inbuilt microphone within the smartphone. Here's a nighttime recording which is in Ultra HD at 30 frames per second. I have to say, it is actually a lot darker than it appears on the screen. And again, all I'm using is the inbuilt microphone within the smartphone. Now recording in 8K at 24 frames per second. You can judge the quality for yourself. Obviously, do bear in mind, when recording in 8K, the files are large, so they will eat into your internal storage space. So do bear that in mind. Okay, let's walk down, see what the stabilization is like. Believe me when I tell you that I have flip-flops on and it is quite bumpy right down. But yeah, so far, yeah, pretty good. Impressed. And I'm also using just the inbuilt microphone within the smartphone. It's not enough for me to just tell you how good the sound and screen quality is on this phone. The best thing to do is to show it to you in the upcoming clips. In the first clip will be the screen test with some sound, and then the second clip will just be the sound test. Samsung DeX. The DeX is short for Desktop Experience. Wireless DeX allows you to wirelessly connect and cast your smartphone to your TV, provided it is a smart TV or a monitor, which is nothing new. But what makes DeX unique is that you can multitask simultaneously. For instance, you can be working on DeX on your TV or monitor whilst freeing up your phone's touchpad to perform other functions simultaneously by using a wireless mouse or keyboard, which is impressive. So as I have here, the touchpad on the phone, which you can use in portrait or landscape mode. And as I was mentioning earlier, we tap at the bottom here. Now you can use your phone at the same time whilst working on DeX on your TV or monitor, which is really good. And should you want to return back to the touchpad, so this icon at the bottom left here, we tap on there and let's give a demonstration. So as I move my finger across, you can see the cursor on the screen moving. I'll just put this in landscape mode for now. So if we go on, select Google, double tap, let's go across to YouTube. Once we're there, double tap, let's find something to watch. What shall we watch? Okay, let's have a look at this here. Let's double tap.
Do not make another debt repayment until you've watched this. Most people don't know you can write off
Okay,
any
so
unsecured
let's
debt that you can't afford.
skip across, hopefully no copyright. With the touchpad, you can use it to perform quite a few functions. To do so, you will tap on this middle section here, which is I for information. So if I double tap on it, hey presto, so that's what we get in the middle of the screen. So it's there, tap, select objects, open apps, activate buttons and more. Scroll. You can tap with 2 fingers, and it says there show more options menu, which is right click. You can swipe with 2 fingers, so to scroll in any directions. You can pinch with 2 fingers to zoom in or out, which is great when you have photos. Touch and hold, select objects on screen. Touch and hold and move. And as it says there, to move objects around the screen or select text. You can tap with 3 fingers to go back. Tap with 4 fingers to show the app screen. Swipe up and down with 3 fingers, view recents or home screen. Then you can swipe left or right with 3 fingers, which will switch between apps. Really all self-explanatory. No note series would be complete without the S Pen or stylus. And this is my first ever note series with a stylus, and it is not a gimmick. Funny enough, I did not buy the Note 20 Ultra for the stylus, but I have been converted, especially at its precision when performing a multitude of functions. And I do not have to rely on my unsteady hands anymore. The stylus reminds me of when the very first iPhone was launched back in 2007. No one realized they needed it until it was launched, and the rest is history. This is the same feeling with the stylus, where I did not realize I needed it until I started using it. Once the S Pen is removed from its housing at the bottom left here, you will get this shortcuts menu. You can add to it. To do so, you tap on the plus here. And these are the ones we currently have. We can add to it. So let's just, for example, if I tap on Facebook, it will be included on the right here. So let's do that. So we see it's on the right. And just to confirm that, if we go back to the shortcuts menu, if I scroll up, there we go. We'll see Facebook shortcuts at the bottom. If we want to remove it, again, we tap on the plus. And all of these icons here, they all have a minus, red minus. So if I tap on it here, it should be removed from the shortcuts menu and back in its original destination. And just to confirm, go back to the shortcuts menu, it's no longer there. So let's look at some other things here. To create a note, again, this is a white background. We can change the color of the background. So yeah, let's choose background color. Let's choose black. Done. And then we can start writing. That's pretty cool. The latency is down to 9 milliseconds with no lag whatsoever, which is impressive. Also, it feels like you're writing on a chalkboard, especially with the sound. If you find the sound annoying, you can always turn it off. Once we finish, we can, on these 3 dots here, we can share, we can save, and what I'll do for now is just delete it. Just move that to the recycle bin. And if we go back to the shortcuts menu, let's select something else. Oh, the other thing to note is that your notes are all saved in Samsung Notes. Let's try Smart Select. So with Smart Select, you've got some shapes you can choose from. So let's just choose the circle. And if there's something here, so let's say this part here. If I select that. Okay, and I can actually draw inside. So Maybe there's something I want somebody to look at. So maybe this part of this photo, and then I can just write here, maybe check. Okay, and then I can share that with somebody or save, and then they can reply back. Okay, so for now, I shall just discard that and then go back to the shortcuts home screen. Next, we shall choose screen write. Screen write is basically a screenshot. Okay, so it's of what we have here. What I can do is I can resize it. So take out other parts that I don't need. Just focus on the area. And then again, I can maybe draw or write, maybe have somebody to, again, to please look at this particular app and so forth. Again, I can share and save. So for now, we just discard that. Okay, and then go back here. And if we have a look at PenUp, PenUp is really useful for those people who like drawing or artists. So you can do live drawings or coloring. So I should choose something simple and start coloring. Let's choose a color. Let's choose blue. And then I can start coloring in. If you find that that's too small, you want to get closer, you can. You just this, and then you can get much closer. So that's really good. I really enjoy that. Yeah, quite therapeutic. That's impressive. Obviously, again, you can change colors as you see fit. Air actions are a feature on this phone which some people will either love or loathe. Nevertheless, air actions feels like something out of Harry Potter, where commands are actioned like the wave of a magic wand. Air actions can be used to open apps, switch between photos, control your music, open the camera, etc. All controlled by using the S Pen and without touching the screen. However idiosyncratic the air actions may be, it's only right to test them out. So I should just pick a few here for demonstration purposes. So let's start with the screen write, which I believe is the screenshot. See how we fare. Oh, fantastic. Okay, so we can save that one. Save. Fantastic. Let's try another one. Let's try back. Let's try again. Oh, fantastic. And lastly, let's try the home. Oh, superb. This 100% means that the S Pen is fully charged and ready to use, so you can proceed with your air actions. Also, it doesn't take very long for the S Pen to charge. In addition to that, the S Pen runs off the Bluetooth connectivity built within this phone. At first, I was skeptical about air actions, but after persevering with it, I took it like a duck to water. However, I will admit the air actions can be erratic at times. When it comes to Bixby routines, I could easily spend an hour plus talking about it because it is packed with around 50 features alone. Honestly, it is endless. Bixby routines are basically actions that are carried out when certain conditions are met. And as you can see here, you can break them down into categories. So if it's food and drink, or health and fitness, movies and TV, shopping is a popular one, travel and transportation. Honestly, it is endless. So let's have a look at a few quick commands just to show what they look like. So while out driving, in terms of productivity, you can turn on Bluetooth, you can have a particular playlist. If you're going out, set the media volume to 80%, conduct a live translate. If you're going out to meet someone, you can have a text sent out to them to let them know you're on your way. Let's have a look at something else. So if it's in the morning, you can turn off Do Not Disturb. You can have the schedule for that day read out to you. And if it's at night, you can turn on Do Not Disturb. etc. So you can see the possibilities are huge. What may turn people off Bixby is that they have to manually set these routines. But if they are actions you perform on a regular basis, it makes sense to automatically set it once so you do not have to keep manually setting them every time the event occurs. For example, if you work in an office environment, you could use Bixby to set the volume of your phone to silent so when you arrive at work, it will not ring. Conversely, you can set Bixby to increase the volume level on your phone once you have left the office, which is pretty handy. No review would be complete without showing you the camera app on this phone and what it does. And what we're going to do is start on the top left here by hitting this settings wheel so we can see what other functions this phone can perform in terms of the camera settings. So as you can see there's Scene Optimizer. Here you can swipe shutter button to take burst shots. Here's save selfie as preview. The one below here is selfie color tone. That's a good one because a lot of people complain that they look too dark or they look too pale. So you can adjust that accordingly. Video stabilization, location tags, shooting methods. So here you have voice commands. At the bottom here you can show your palm to the camera to take a selfie or to start recording, which is great. The other one I really like is this floating shutter button, which I will go on to demonstrate a little later. You can record 4K videos at 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second with this camera phone. You can also record 8K videos at 24 frames per second. But do beware, because they do create large files which will eat into your internal storage. In terms of other functions on this phone, you have the single take, which you can use with a timer. The photo, you can go through the different zooms. So from half a zoom, you can go to 50 times zoom. If I select this one here, that's 5 times zoom. And again, you can go all the way up to 50 times zoom. I will show you what those other zooms look like when I am outdoors, so you can get a better idea. Okay, so if we go back here, if you want to take advantage of that 108 megapixel high resolution camera, what you do is tap on this 4x3 and select this bottom option here, which shows you that it's the 108 megapixel high resolution camera. But for now, I should just revert back to what it was. Video is self-explanatory. If we tap on more here, we have some other options at your disposal. If, for example, you don't want to always keep coming into this section, what you can do is add any of these to the carousel here, and to do so, tap on plus. So let's just select Pro Video, hold it down, and then just add it to the carousel and then hit save. Again, if we want to reverse the process by removing it from the carousel, tap on the plus, hold down the Pro Video, drag it back, and then hit save. And that's perfect. Whilst we're here, I do want to have a look at the Pro Video. The reason why I like this Pro Video option is that you have the ability to customize things even further. So the zoom, the standard, the white balance, autofocus, even down to the ISO balance. This is very reminiscent of the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II. You can also adjust the microphone. So right now it's omnidirectional, so pick up sounds from all around. And hopefully you're also picking up the background music that I'm using. So if we select option, this picks up sound coming towards the front of the phone. If we select rear, so this picks up sound coming from behind the phone. So that's really good customization there. So you can adjust things as you see fit. Okay, so if we go back, obviously this option here, if we tap on that, that will flick around to the selfie camera, but I'm not looking very glamorous, so I shall leave that option alone for now. And then I want to have a look at this shutter button, for the simple reason that because this is a large phone, it can be really tricky trying to take a photo with just the one hand, and especially if you're trying to take a particular photo. So what you can do is just ever so slightly hold down this shutter button and then just move it like this, and you can move it anywhere across the screen, and that is your floating shutter button. So now, say for example in this case, one is left-handed, I can take a photo very comfortably, just like that, using the floating shutter button. Then once I've finished, then I just move back and return it back to its original position. There are so many things I like about this phone that it is easier to tell you the things that I do not like. Firstly, the battery life could be better for sure. Secondly, the price is jaw-dropping regardless of the economic climate. Again, I bought mine using the Amazon Renew program, where I saved a lot of money. So why shouldn't you benefit? I have made a separate video on this topic. Thirdly, not being able to hide the front-facing camera due to the function being stealthily removed by Samsung is hard to swallow. Samsung's official response for doing so is as follows. Our engineers advised it was removed due to low usage by the community. You can try checking out Good Lock from the Galaxy Store. This provides more functions in terms of customizing your device. You can force the screen area to increase via Good Lock. That is a worry, which makes me think, what other functions are Samsung planning to remove from their phones? Anyway, those are my 3 dislikes about the phone, but this will differ from user to user. So just to conclude, this phone is a real powerhouse, as highlighted in this video, with so many functions and hidden features. It can handle whatever you throw at it. Of course, that comes at a price, with the battery taking a hit. I guess the question is, who is this phone for? I would say it is for those who want the creme de la creme when it comes to smartphone technology and are prepared to pay a premium for it. Also, with no Note in 2021 due to a shortage of semiconductors, this phone will hold its value for some time. So do not expect to pick one up cheaply. You could trade in your old Samsung phone online to get some discounts. Overall, this is a great phone, despite its shortcomings, and anyone purchasing it will not be disappointed. So just to sign off, if you have enjoyed this content, a subscribe to the channel below would be treated like gold dust, and it is free to do. My analytics shows that only 3.9% of you are subscribed to the channel. In addition, a like would also be welcomed. Hitting the notification bell will mean you do not miss out on upcoming videos. Anyway, my name is Shola. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.
Where are you?